Hi, I'm Dana, a creative guide and consciousness mentor who helps visionaries and sensitive go getters clear the inner clutter and tune into their deep knowing and bring their creative work into the world with clarity and flow. My work blends mind, body, spirit integration, intuitive development, and practical strategies to help you stay connected to your creative essence while navigating the realities of making a positive mark in the world. See, creativity is not just something we do, it's something that moves through us. It's an energy, an intelligence, a force that's always present, but accessing it isn't always effortless. We live in a world full of distractions, pressures, and narratives about what is and isn't possible. And sometimes our greatest resistance comes right from within us, the voice of the inner critic, perfectionism, self doubt, or fear of being seen. This practice is designed to help you clear your creative channel, quiet the mental noise, and reconnect to the deep well of inspiration that already exists within you. Because when you can differentiate between your true creative impulses and the static of limiting beliefs, you become unstoppable. The creative process is both ethereal and practical. It's a dance between receiving inspiration and taking action, between vision and form. Many creatives resist structured practices like goal setting because they feel restrictive. But in reality, creative flow thrives when we balance the intangible with the tangible. It's like feeling the squeeze of a creative constraint. It allows the flow to be channeled more powerfully, like a river rushing through a canyon. We're not just artists, we're channels, translating the unseen into something that can be experienced in the world. And the clearer our channel, the more freely our creativity flows. This is why clarity is power. The more we clear out what isn't ours, self doubt, external expectations, fear, the more we strengthen our ability to stay in creative momentum, even through uncertainty. So, in this practice, I'll guide you through a mental, somatic, and energetic clearing process designed to do a bunch of cool things. We'll open your creative channels, tuning into the flow of inspiration and making space for new ideas to emerge. We'll clear the clutter, noticing thoughts and beliefs and inner voices that may be interfering with your creative expression. We'll attune to the somatic and energetic signals, understanding how the body holds creative resistance and how to shift into a more open, receptive state. And we'll partner with creative essence, connecting with the greater sources of creative intelligence that want to move through you, ensuring your channels are open and clear. When we approach creativity this way, we're no longer trying to force inspiration or push through blocks. Instead, we're learning to work in partnership with creativity itself, allowing it to flow naturally while ensuring that our inner critic and limiting narratives don't interfere. You are welcome to make this practice part of your creative ritual. It can be used repeatedly as part of your process, whether you're starting a new project, feeling stuck, or just want to maintain a strong connection to creative flow. Bookmark this video so you can return to it whenever you need a reset. Think of it as keeping your inner creative space clean and organized, just like you keep your physical studio space. When your creative channel is clear, the work flows with greater ease. So let's begin. Find a comfortable place where you can settle in. Close your eyes if that feels good, and allow yourself to drop into this experience. Let's clear the path so that your creative essence can flow freely. Okay, so settling into our guided journey into tending our creative space, partnering with creativity, and clearing a whole bunch of clutter from inside our spaces. So you can settle into whatever comfortable position works for you. If you're seated, you might just start to feel the weight of gravity under your butt and thighs. If you're lying down, you might feel it even more areas of the body. If it's comfy for you, you can close your eyes. And you become very aware of the sweet, gentle pull of gravity and how she pulls us to the center of the planet uncompromisingly, always there for us to remind us that we can be grounded anytime we want to. Watching your breath begin to have a gentle wave in the body. It's always there, it's just we don't always think to watch it. So without changing anything about how your breath is moving, you can just begin to feel it, to notice how the wave of in-breath and out-breath moves through the body, creates pressure and resistance, creates softness and ease. Just watching flow in and out. And as you do that, you might notice how your mind might be still busy in whatever it was doing before you came to this practice. And that's okay. Minds are meant to be busy. You can just appreciate how it's so good at what it does, all of its thinking and its cognition, ability to problem solve and reason, ability to understand and make sense of our experience. So we can integrate that into our whole understanding of what it is to be alive, to have a body, to use this consciousness as we move through our human life. So descending back into the body, you are brought up into the mind. Again, feeling which areas of the body are in contact with something. Probably here on Earth, and you're probably affected by gravity. So just let yourself really melt into it, releasing any tendency to hold yourself up against gravity, and softening any areas that maybe are holding habitually. And as you do that, you might notice how areas of tension or parts of the body sometimes have sensations. And sometimes those sensations are more than just a sensation. It might be more than just density or clenching or dullness. Sometimes there's emotions in the body. And what we love to do is separate, create a little bit of space between that feeling of sensation, just in its purest sense. Maybe the temperature of air as it enters your nostrils if you're breathing through your nose, and just notice that temperature. Just a simple observation. What happens is our thoughts tend to quickly rush in and try to make sense of these sensory inputs. And what is a wonderful thing to do is create a little bit of space between sensory information and what the brain and the thinking part of ourselves does with that. Again, just come back to your body. You might just do a body scan. Maybe there's areas of your body that are holding injuries or memories of something that has happened in the past. And that might be imprinted into the tissues. And that might be playing out for you in your day-to-day sometimes. And that's okay. But you also might notice that those sensations in the body have thoughts and feelings and memories. And you develop an opinion in response to those sensations. So just see if you can notice that those are two separate things. That you can have a body sensation, and you can also have thoughts about the sensation. Just imagine them coming apart, just kind of spreading apart like they're two separate things. Nice. So we're going to use a tool called the grounding cord. And this is one of the most effective ways I've found to ground myself, help myself feel connected to the center of the planet. That's literally what we're going to envision. So at the base of the skull, or base of the pelvis, where your sit bones are, I want you to imagine that there is a big, strong chain. And this might be, the links of the chain might be as wide or wider than your hips. And it's fully strong. All the links are perfectly formed. And you can follow the links of this chain, which is really well attached into your body. We don't have to understand how or why that works. We're just going to know that it does. And those links are going to descend all the way to the center of the planet. And at the end of this chain, there's one of those big anchors that is often used by big ships to hold them in place out at sea when they're staying put for a moment. And we're going to have one of those big anchor hooks stuck right into the last firm spot in the center of the planet before it turns to molten magma. So give that anchor a good tug and make sure that it's really well attached into that spot in the center of the planet, and follow the chain, just double checking that each link is really strong and sturdy. Noticing the texture of the metal, if that's what it's made of. Notice if it's shiny or rusty or encrusted with diamonds, or is it a color? Is it made of something else? There's no wrong way to see this connection for yourself. It can appear different every day, and that's fun and fine. When you get back up to the top of this chain, just give it one more tug where it attaches onto the body. Remember, it's as wide or maybe even wider than the pelvis. It's a really strong attachment, and there's no loose spots as you wiggle it and tug at it. No spots where it's coming undone. And you can reach down onto that chain and find its switch that turns it on. And as soon as you turn it on, you start to notice how your body starts to soften. And you get the sense of downward pull in the same effortless way that a bathtub drains when you pull the plug out. So you can feel the cells of your body, the spaces around the cells of your body, just draining anything that is no longer helpful in the body. Letting emotions flow down. You can watch them pour through the body, down the grounding cord. And as they go all the way down to the center of the planet, you can see how they burn up in that molten center there. And as they burn up and it pours in, you can see how it gets transmuted and turned into something else that can be used elsewhere in the universe. There's no wasted energy in the universe. It's all just put to use in its best way. And so it serves us well to release anything that isn't serving us, because otherwise we're just carrying around things that maybe could be used better elsewhere, and certainly could be clogging up our capacity in our inner landscapes. So just watch and know that you're connected to this grounding cord with a downward, effortless pull. And the cells and tissues of your body are benefiting from being in this downward flow. Stagnation is never good in the body. Never really good anywhere. So when we tap into flow, everything just feels better. So if you've been having some thoughts pop in as I've been walking you through this experience, it's totally normal and common, especially if you're new to this type of work. We have a tendency to have a very cognitively biased world that favors thinking and reasoning. So we're really encouraged to operate from the mind space. So it's just a really well developed part of ourselves. But there are other parts of ourselves, like connection to the body and connection to our wisdom and our spiritual knowing. And when we bring together all three of those spaces, the mind, the body, and the spirit, and they overlap with each other, we tap into a really beautiful, unified source of pure power. And in this practice today, we're going to use that, look at that from the lens of creative flow and being in our creative practices. So we're going to now connect with our energy field. I might say energy field, I might say aura, they're interchangeable here. But this is the space that's around the body, that is your personal space. It's kind of, if we let it be, it becomes a barrier between us and the outside world. Now, it could be many sizes, but a good size that I might recommend would be if you were to outstretch your arms in both directions, you wouldn't quite be able to touch it with your fingertips. So if you outstretched your arms in both directions, you wouldn't quite touch it. So that would give you enough space to be able to float around in the center of this energy space, this energetic bubble. And it gives you a bit of perspective between yourself and the outside world. There's ways that we can work with this to protect ourselves and to create autonomy from outside influences and even our minds. Sometimes our minds can really cause us troubles, especially if they're tricking us into believing lies about our identities that are no longer relevant, beliefs that we no longer relate to and don't believe are true. Fortifying our energy field can just kind of help us manage that. We can create this beautiful space where inside is our pure essence, full self, and it helps create space so that we can maintain perspective from our thoughts, from external influences, the world, the people around us, and if you're sensitive, maybe even energies. A lot of artists and creatives are very sensitive to other people, emotions, and even to other energies. And I myself definitely identify as one of those people. And I found that this practice of doing kind of this three-part integration has really helped me in maintaining my health and well-being, as well as strengthening myself so that I can keep foreign energies and foreign things outside of my space. It's done wonders for my confidence, my belief in myself, keeping out doubt, cynicism, and other yucky ones. So let's talk more about this energy field, our energy bubble. So it is, I like to look at it like it's a bubble, like literally like one of those beautiful iridescent clear bubbles that we blow, the liquid, and we have the little wand, the bubble wand, and we blow into it, and it creates this nebulous moving structure that's filled with space, and it's floating through space. Maybe you notice how your bubble has kind of those rainbow iridescence on the outside of it. And just take note of your bubble, noticing what it's like. Is it really thick and rubbery? Is it cracked and brittle? What are you seeing? What are you noticing? Each day it might be a little different. So if you're doing this today, it might look one way, but if you do this on another day, it might look different. And that's great. That's your spirit connecting with you and showing you maybe where you could focus some of your attention and care so that we can fortify and strengthen our energy fields. Okay, so inside the space between the beautiful iridescent edges of your field, and there's the body, and then in the middle, there's a space. So sometimes what happens in this space is we accumulate things, just like having a storage locker or a crawl space in your house, where sometimes stuff gets shoved, and sometimes it might not be yours. You might have inherited a bunch from from a sibling or a parent. You might have inherited stuff from people you love, and maybe even people and experiences that you don't even know. So we are often even influenced by the collective in an unconscious way, and that can accumulate in our space if we're not careful to clear it out. So what we're going to do is we are going to clear this space out. And this is a very key part of maintaining spiritual well-being, is getting clear on what is you and what is not you. And this is one wonderful way to just take out the trash and let go of stuff that no longer serves you, that you don't even need anymore. So at the bottom of your energy field, kind of where your grounding cord connects in, down at the base of the pelvis, kind of in that area, there is a trap door. And what you can do is reach down and open that trap door, and you'll notice that as soon as you do, it kind of creates a vacuum type pull, like one of those central vacuums where you just kind of lift the flap on the wall where you put the hose in, and there's already a suction and a pull. You don't have to turn anything on. It's just a matter of opening the flap and suction begins. Well, that's what's happening here. So you can open that trap door, leave it open, and then you can go around inside your field and just grab any of those things that you know are no longer serving you. There might be some dusty old boxes piled up in one area. You can go ahead and just drop them down through that opening, the trap door. And what's going to happen is anything that you're ready to release, if it's showing it to you, it's ready to go. So you don't have to worry about over-releasing or letting go of something if you're not ready to, because your higher self has your back. You are going to be able to release what is correct for you in the right way, and you can trust that. So as we drop these things we're no longer needing down this trap door, it's going to tumble down that grounding cord, remember that chain, and it is going to tumble into the center of the planet where things get reused and repurposed in a more meaningful way. So we are releasing things, taking out the garbage and releasing old baggage so that we can be liberated from all these things. Not that they don't matter, but we don't have to carry them around in our spaces. We can still trust that whatever the experience was or the reason that it was there has influenced us in the ways that it has, and we can appreciate that. And we can also say, thank you so much for that. Farewell. Give it a hug or a smooch, or maybe you just want to drop kick it and you're just like over it. It's ready to get it gone. Whatever method of saying farewell that's appropriate, go right ahead. And as they hit the center of the planet where they're burning up in that magma, you can just really appreciate how there's this way to clean things out for yourself now. Maybe you've never done this before and you're really relating to it and it feels good. So just be grateful that you found this way of tending to your internal space. And just notice how nice it is to take up those old rolled up carpets that have been stored in the attic and drop them down and see them burn up and get used in a better way. Maybe there's stacks of papers. You can let them go. Maybe there's old jewelry or china. Or maybe you're just seeing textures or shapes. Maybe you're just getting kind of feelings or sensations. That's fine too. You can go ahead and just let them drop. And notice how this space is becoming more and more open. It's easier and easier for you to move around in there. Fantastic. So just grab the last few things that are presenting themselves that are ready to go for today. Drop them down through that trapdoor. And what we're going to do is one really fun thing is we are going to pressure wash the inside of this space just to get any buildup off the walls of your energy field on the inside. So what you're going to do is reach up, and the Supreme Being, however you want to relate to that, higher consciousness, maybe it's God for you, maybe it's just a universal intelligence, however you'd like to play with this, you can reach up and grab that pressure washer wand that's connected right into the flow of universal consciousness. And you're going to turn this pressure washer on and then turn it to the right setting, because we are going to spray the walls. Okay, so spraying out this pressure washer is this golden elixir that is just pure consciousness, pure universal energy. And it's blasting the walls of your energy bubble. And as it sprays the walls of your energy bubble, you're going to notice how it is healing it. It's like an elixir of vitality. Everything that comes in contact with this golden elixir gets better. So you're spraying the walls. If there's any areas that are a little bit dull or have cracks or dings or tears in your field, they're getting instantaneously repaired. And so you're moving around throughout your whole space, being really thorough, adjusting the pressure if there's certain areas that are particularly gummed up. Maybe there's some extra layers of wallpaper that are ready to go. You can just spray them off, but maybe a little bit more attention. Just noticing that we don't have to understand why any of these things are here. We don't have to trace it back to any instances that we've experienced or people we know. We can just receive any images, knowing, or anything that we know about these things, and just look at them without really getting into thinking patterns. So if you are thinking, you can just wash out that thinking with your pressure washer and just let it go down that trap door, pour down that grounding cord. And all of this is just burning up in the center of the planet. Don't forget to get the very top and the bit behind you, underneath you. Remember, go in all directions, all the way around yourself. And just finish up. And once you're done, you can just let that pressure washer device and that tool, give it back to where it came. And it's going to go back up into the heavens. Say thank you so much for your assistance, providing that connection to higher consciousness, universal consciousness. Hey, we're not alone. We can partner with all sorts of entities, and that's one of them. Okay, so have a look around. How does your aura, your energy field, look now? It probably looks amazing. You might be getting that sense of when the sun comes out after a big downpour, where everything is just so clean and glistening and bright. Very nice. Okay, we're going to do another thing here that is going to, because we've done so much cleaning out. We have taken out the trash, we've cleaned the walls with a pressure washer, we've grounded and allowed our bodies to flow and drain of anything that was ready to go from that space. So the thing is it's no good to clean stuff out of our spaces if we just leave it open, because who knows what's going to fill that space. So let's fill it back in, or what's going to fill that space, so that we claim it and we fill it with our own pure essence, and we claim it instead of letting anything foreign get into that space. So above yourself, well above your body, well above your energy field, and even above the mental plane, you're going to see in your mind's eye an orb begin to form. And this orb is beautiful and golden. And in the center of it is this magnetic core that is an attractant to your pure golden essence, and only that. So the fact that you are bringing your intention there and kind of activating that magnetism, you're just automatically noticing how it's starting to glow brighter, and you're noticing beams of light coming from all directions, creating this orb to grow and to become brighter, more golden, more radiant, and honestly, just one of the most beautiful things you've ever seen. And these beams of light that are coming back, they are peeling back from anything that you interacted with at any point along the timeline that maybe a bit of your energy got stuck to. So maybe this is coming all the way back from when you were a child and you had a favorite toy that you played with, and some of your energy was stuck on that toy. If you can see it peeling off and bringing it back right into this concentrated orb. Maybe there's some in the last conversation that you had before you started this practice. Or maybe you left some in the shower when you had a shower last, and it's a little bit on the water dial where you turned on the water. And so you can see it coming back into this orb. Maybe there's some of your energy stuck off in the future. Maybe you've been thinking about what you want to create in the future, or have been setting some goals or plans for yourself. Well, that's all very good and well, but let's bring the energy back. You can still have those desires. They can still exist in the future, but we don't have to be all tangled up with them. Your energy wants to be with you here, now. You have a body. You get to do cool things with your body and channel this consciousness into human reality. That's a really cool power move to pull. So your essence is so excited to be called back and invited back. I mean, there even could be some of your energy stuck in dimensions that we can't even comprehend as humans. So you can just let it come back from alternate realities, some different dimensions that we don't even have words to explain, or ways to comprehend it with our human brains. And we don't have to think about that. We can just know that it's coming back because we've activated this magnet in the center of the orb. So this orb is gorgeous. It is golden, it is radiant, it is well above you, and it's getting bigger and brighter. And what we're going to do is we're going to purify it just in case something got stuck along the way. Sometimes you can get hitchhikers, maybe parts of other foreign energy got stuck with yours as it came back. So you can just bring it to a boil. Turn up the temperature of this golden orb and just watch it maybe smoke or steam a little bit. And as it does that, it's just purifying and becoming more potent. And once it's perfectly clear, there's no debris burning off anymore. It's just your essence, your pure golden essence. We're going to bring it in, and you're going to love this. It feels so nice. So it's warm, it's radiant, it's vital. Everything it comes in contact with, it just feels incredible. So you're going to reach up and you're going to pull it down right into that mental space, and it's going to soak into all of the beautiful folds of your brain and your thoughts and your cognition. It's coming right into the walls of your energy field. It's filling in the space between the walls of your energy field and the body. And it's even soaking right into every single cell of the body, right to the core, right into the center of your bones. And as you do bring this in, you're just noticing how nice it is, how familiar, how fortifying this feels, and validating to be back with yourself. And you're just letting it soak in and fill up. There's no shortage of it because that orb was massive. It's even going all the way down the grounding cord. And there's so much of this essence, golden energy, that it's overflowing and spilling into the center of the planet. And again, nothing gets wasted. It's just getting repurposed as it boils and burns up down there. Beautiful. Just bask in that for a moment. Just notice how you feel in your body, in your mental space, in your aura, and that space inside the aura that's your own personal sanctuary. And just notice how we've balanced out our awareness of all these spaces. And just notice what you notice. Notice if you're having thoughts, try to dive bomb in this experience. Notice what your relationship is to your sensations from the body. And also just notice what it's like to really connect with your energy field and know that it is there around you and that you've cultivated a space inside this that's just for you. And notice how the world exists outside of all of this. Beautiful. So let's just take a look at the topic today of our becoming a creative channel or a conduit for creative flow. So it's just an extension of what we've already experienced. But out beyond your field, you can just see all of the creative projects that you're a part of, or maybe the ones that are starting to just emerge. And you can imagine that you're just looking through your bubble, and what you're seeing on the outside of your bubble is kind of like a movie screen, or maybe like a collage of images. Maybe they're a collage of movies or something like that. So you might just have a knowing as well. You might not have a strong seeing of the things. You might just know what's out there, and that's fine too. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Just check in that you're not trying hard to do it right. That's your brain trying to kick in. Just notice what is presenting itself as you kind of create this field of vision where you're like, I'm going to connect with what I'm creating. What is it that wants to move through me in the next while? And just let it come through. Maybe you're getting actual images. Maybe you're connecting with the feeling of when you are in creation, when you're in a practice mode. How do you want to feel as you are in your practice and creating whatever it is that you're creating? That's an important part, because if we go ahead and we are creators, which we are, and we don't define how we want to feel on the journey, and we think we're just going to feel a certain way upon achievement of a goal, we miss out. We really miss out, because there's an opportunity to cultivate an idea of how we want to feel upon completion and start feeling that now. And then we are successful the whole way through, because we're in immediate contact with our future selves. And our future selves, the one who's created whatever it is that wants to move through us, is with us here right now. So look into that project that wants to happen. What is happening around you? Maybe you're just kind of in an early stage of being receptive to new ideas. Maybe there's lots of different stages of ideas that are being presented to you in this image. Just receive however it comes to you. It might come in body sensations. It might come in emotions. It might come in images or pictures. Maybe just shapes, textures. And it also could be something symbolic. And you might just be getting random images that don't seem related at this moment in time to whatever it is that wants to move through you. It's not your job to interpret right now. We're just receiving. You can just quiet the brain. If you're getting some seemingly random images, just let them come. Just let them. What is it that you want me to see? Let all of that information arrive. You might be right in the center of a big project. We're all in the center of something. We can be honest. We're all in the center of something. So just know that all we need to know for any stage of any project is what's the one next step I can take. It can be that simple. It doesn't have to be long-range plans. You might just be getting information about what is immediately next. Take it all in. Don't judge it. Think it should be something better, more robust of a plan. Just quiet all those thoughts and just allow any images, sensations, emotions to arrive. Let them be known. Emotions often have a somatic connection, so you might notice that if you're connecting with an emotion, you feel it in the body. Very, like we have all sorts of language that talks about how, my heart skipped a beat when we're excited about something. Or how we have rage. We feel like our faces were red with rage. Right? So you might be experiencing something like that. It's a shared experience having emotions show up in the body. Reflecting any of the last information that your creative spirit wanted to show you about what wants to move through you. You could just put a question out there like, hey, what do you want me to know about progressing this? And let the answer come. Again, there's no right or wrong way to receive that answer. You can let your brain just rest. Just receive it. Very nice. And thank you so much, Creative Spirit, for showing that. It's so nice to know that we can connect like this, and I can come here and work in unison with you this way. Beautiful. So you can just let all of those, whatever it is that you received, images, ideas, concepts, colors, textures, you can just let them drift off into the space around your body, around your aura. I like to call it like drifting off into the horizon. You can just let that happen, knowing that you'll connect back in with them when they're ready to be seen again. Very nice. Just do a little inventory. Come back into the body. Notice how it's still flowing. Connected to that grounding cord, which has that downward pulse. You can watch how stagnation is replaced with movement and fluidity in the body, and how the space around the body is also in this beautiful state of flow. That trapdoor might still be open, where it's kind of just has that effortless bathtub drain sort of pull down the grounding cord. And same with the energy field or the aura. It's also flowing. down the grounding cord. And that mental space as well. Just knowing that it's all connected in and that we're in partnership with it, but it doesn't always get to run the show. Often needs to quiet down so we can connect in with these other parts of ourselves. And it is also connected and flowing into that grounding cord. So for snickety thoughts, those perseverant thoughts, you can send them down the grounding cord anytime you want. Really good. We're going to prepare to come back into this time and this place of human existence. But we're also going to keep this connection to what we've created here and what we're tending. Because this is such a beautiful way to prime and polish our channels of creation. This is a really easy foundational practice to do. And I hope you'll come back to visit it. To keep your channels open, keep things flowing in most ease. You can start to feel your body again, resting on whatever it is that you're resting on. You're lying down or seated. And you can start to remember that you're in some sort of environment. Maybe it's a room or maybe you're outdoors, I'm not sure. Just become aware of what's around you with all your senses. You might want to deepen your breath and take more expansive breaths, just bringing back a bit of movement and aliveness with your inhales. Again, softness with the exhales. And starting to trace the edges of the body, maybe fingers and toes are beginning to move. Maybe your eyes are ready to start letting in vision as you gently open them if they're closed. Keeping your gaze nice and low and gentle. And start to let vision start to come back in, and just notice how when you open your eyes, it's a new form of information coming into the brain. How interesting that feels. One of the senses, just like touch and temperature are, taste is, sound is. Beautiful. Welcome back. So as you move into the rest of your day and into your practice, just know that this is always here. All these spaces, the mind, the body, the energy field, they're always here. We tend to just forget to check in with them. So if you're ever feeling not how you want to feel, and like you would prefer to be in touch with your higher self, your future self, this is such an easy, beautiful way to do it. It's right here. It's just a matter of turning your attention inward and then doing this protocol of, grounding, connecting with the body, connecting with our mind space, and just giving it some parameters so that it doesn't hog the experience, and our energy field as well. Just making sure that we are separate from the world, that we are cleaning ourselves out so that we can channel creative impulses in a more clean way, so we're not lugging stuff around that we don't need anymore. So I hope you had a transformative experience, and I do hope you will practice this in a few times and just see what it does for your practice and for your general well-being. Thank you so much for being here. If you found this practice helpful, I invite you to visit my website, danasmithwellness.com, to explore more resources for deepening your connection to your own expression of personal leadership in a mind, body, spirit way. And if you want me to come to you, join my love letter mailing list. You'll be the first to know about upcoming workshops, experiences, and ways to strengthen your creative flow. Keep creating, keep channeling, and I'll see you next time.